I don't have the candles out because this is not my home to burn down. Hello my friends, Maldonado here. Are you guys excited this week? Are you excited to see what kind of art tarot is going to tell us to make? I'm psyched. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see. So this week I'm actually staying with family. So I'm at a different location. I am in a different home. So the setup's a little bit different. We've just got my tarot journal. I've sprinkled some amethyst chips around, just to keep it nice. It's different. Hopefully the candles will come back next week. We'll see. But this week we're going to be using Chris Ann's The Light Seers Tarot. And this deck came out in 2019 and it is super popular. Everyone and their mom has this deck. Actually, I think my mom does have this deck. This is the little booklet that it comes with. It's a juicy. It's cute. And here are the cards. And I do love the color palette. I mean, how can you not love these cards? I mean, it's no wonder that this is one of the most popular decks that has come out in the last couple of years. So let's give this deck a shuffle and we will find out what the theme of our art piece is going to be, what colors we're going to be using, what medium we're going to be using, and what the focal point of our art piece is going to be, just with 4 simple tarot cards. Okay. So let's see. We've got our theme, and our theme is the 10 of Pentacles. So let me show you this card a little closer. The 10 of Pentacles. So this is a really happy, lovely card. We've got the family together. When we talk about 10 of Pentacles, there's a lot of wealth here. Usually wealth that comes from the family, possibly old money. So we will put this down here for now and just keep that in mind as we look at the rest of the cards. So the color, ooh, this one's pretty obvious. The color that strikes me here is green and the Hanged Man. So I think we are going to be using a lot of green in our art piece. Next is the medium. What kind of art supplies are we going to be using here? So we've got the 2 of Wands. So in the 2 of Wands, we see this woman sitting by the window and looks like she's thinking, she's planning. Let's take a closer look at this card, because normally I tend to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so I'm very used to the symbols that are in that deck. So I think this may be the second time that I'm using this deck, so I like to look at the details a little closer. Looks like, what is that, a picture of, is that a fire engine? It looks like a fire engine and a ladder. She's sitting by the window and there's some lights over here. Wait a minute, I don't think that's a fire engine. Let me get my glasses. I need to get my reading glasses. Good heavens, okay. Let's look at this again. Oh my goodness. That is not a fire engine. That is a van with a surfboard. Kids, don't get old. Please don't get old, because then you're going to start seeing things like fire engines. See? Oh, there we go. Nice and close. Yes, that is a van with a surfboard for sure, right? Or do I need to get stronger glasses? I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So looking at this, 2 of Wands is also about making choices. So you're planning, making choices. So I think for our medium, since we're going with green, maybe it's about making the choices in our art between maybe something like markers and pencils. So I can maybe take out every shade of green that I have in markers and pencils. I'm thinking those two because we've got the 2 wands that look like 2 sticks. So the sticks remind me of pencils and markers. So throughout the art piece, I can just be making the choice between what parts should be colored green in pencil and what parts should be colored green with marker. Let's do that. That might be fun. All right, so our fourth card is going to be our focal point. And we've got here the Four of Swords. So let's bring this up a little closer. Okay, so we've got a woman here, and she is lying in a nest, and we see a heart that looks like it's made of yarn. Again, this is me with my poor reading glasses. Hopefully that's what you see too. It looks like a piece of yarn, and I don't know if maybe she was knitting the heart with that yarn. And that's what it looks like here. This is a woman who's definitely taking some time out to rest. She's been working hard at her knitting, and going back to the theme with money and family, I'm going to say that our art piece is going to focus on a woman who's maybe retiring, and she's, taking the time out to spend with her family, enjoy her money, spend her money on her family. So I think we're going to do something with that. And again, we're going to mostly be using greens, and we'll probably be alternating between pencils and markers, and we're going to have some fun with this. Okay, so we've got a head. We drew a head. That was progress, because that was not my first attempt at drawing a head, by the way. Anyway, so I was scrolling around Pinterest looking for someone who looked like an older lady who was wealthy and pretty much defined the character that was showing up in the reading. And I finally came across this woman who, she just looked like a fun-loving grandma. She had this really cute, trendy beret and these giant fashionable sunglasses, and she was holding kind of, I think it was like 2 stacks of money, and she just looked like a lot of fun. And that photograph that I found, I thought, that's her. That's my grandma. That's the one who has all this money and who's going to spend it on her family, and she's going to have fun doing it. So here is my attempt at drawing Our Lady. So when I finished drawing her lips, I realized that she didn't look as happy as she did in the original photograph. But, I mean, she doesn't look unhappy. I think in my drawing, she looks more sassy than she does happy. And you know what? I think I'm okay with that. So now I'm working on her very fancy coat. And she is wearing faux fur, because that's what my sassy granny in this drawing wears. Even though she has all the wealth that she needs, she's not going to go out and spend her money on cruelty for animals. That's just not going to happen. So my granny, who's wealthy, has got this fancy faux fur coat. And I was a little nervous about how I was going to draw this, because I never drew anything with fur or, anything with well-defined hair. So I wasn't really sure how on earth I was going to attempt this. So I decided to forget about the coat for now and just focus on the hands, because those are my favorite. And the hand position in the photo was quite different from any hand position I've ever had to draw before, because in this photo she was flipping through a stack of bills, and just trying to figure out the different positions that the fingers need to be in. It was tricky, but I have to admit, I was having more fun drawing hands now than I have in the past. I think slowly I'm improving. I'm definitely not there yet, but at least I don't find myself getting as frustrated as I used to in the beginning. I think I only had to erase the fingers maybe 2 or 3 times, as opposed to 10 or 100. So, we're getting there. And here I'm attempting to draw the bills that she's flipping through. And that was kind of interesting because there's a lot of perspective going on here. There's like one bill that's kind of flipped forward and the rest of the bills are sort of faced in another direction. And at first I was thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but especially because I don't know what the rules of perspective are. So in place of knowing the rules, I'm just copying the lines and the shapes that I see and hoping that it'll come together in some form. So now I'm working on the outline of her very fancy coat and trying to make a little something to make it look like it's furry. Still quite not sure at this point how I was going to color it in to give the illusion, but at least the little outline with the little furry spikes along the edges tells you that it's faux fur, right? Right? I mean, yeah, it looks okay. It looks fine. So at this point, I had already outlined everything in my Micron pen, added some details to the money, and then I took my eraser and started to erase all the pencil lines when I realized I just erased the bangles on her right hand. You see that? Look at that mess. I completely forgot that I didn't outline that part in pen, so I just redid it again, but that wasn't really a problem. It was pretty quick, and got rid of the rest of the pencil lines. And now that it was clean and it was just all pen, now we're ready to color. I'm starting to color in her face, and I'm using my colored pencils right now, but later you'll see that I'll be using markers because our reading said to alternate between pencils and markers, and you'll see that I'll do that throughout the drawing. And right now I'm not using any green, but you will see later on that there will be quite a lot of green in this drawing. I was trying to stick as much as I could to the reading, the direction that the reading gave me, and I think I accomplished that. So right now I'm coloring in the glasses. I wanted to make a little outline of where her eyes would be because I wanted her eyes to show through the sunglasses just a little bit. I didn't want too much details on the eyes, but I wanted you to be able to see her eyes just a little bit underneath the glasses. Okay, the glasses are done, and now I'm just working on some shading around the neck and more shading around the face, a little under the hat. And then I started working on her lipstick, and I wasn't sure. I knew the white pencil wasn't going to work, and I wasn't positive that my white jelly roll was going to work on top, so I purposely left out a little bit of white on the bottom lip just to act as a highlight, and I think that came out pretty good. And the woman in the original photo had white hair, and I thought, well, how fun would it be, since green came up as the main color for our drawing, how fun would it be to give her green hair? So kind of blondish, but like with green tips and like little green highlights here and there. I thought that was fun because, like I said, our grandma, she's fun, she's trendy, she's rich, she can do whatever she wants. So adding more to the green, I took my green marker and made her beret green. So I grabbed a different shade of green, right? Our reading told us to grab different shades of green pencil and green marker. So I thought this would be a nice green to add to the hat. And I'm working on coloring in the hands and trying to add some shadows and lines. And frankly, I don't love how it came out, but we keep trying with these hands. We keep trying. It's going to be a long hand journey. So now I'm taking my Ohuhu marker to add some more shading to the hat, and the color that I used for the hat is GY5. So I put a first layer of GY5, and now I waited for that first layer to dry, and now I'm adding a second layer in the parts that I want shaded, and I'm using the same exact color. So that's a fun thing that you can use with these alcohol markers, is that you can layer them, make colors darker, even though you're using the same color. So alcohol markers are a lot of fun, and I especially like the Ohuhu markers because they're cheap, but they're good. So they're not as expensive as Copic, but they work really, really well. And since these markers layer really well, I thought I could use a similar technique to create the fur. So you probably saw earlier that I was just making little brush strokes with the same color. It was like a cool gray, I think it's what that color is called. It's C600, also called cool gray. And I was making brush strokes with that to kind of define the fur a little bit. And then I took my silver colored pencil and I added even more defined strokes of fur. And I'm using a different color from the shoulders. So the sleeves and the body of the coat are a darker color than the shoulders. And I thought that also gave the coat a little sassiness to it. So I'm just filling in the rest of the coat, and then later I'll apply the same technique, taking the brush nib part of the marker and using that to make the strokes of the fur. And I think the illusion worked. I mean, again, it's supposed to be cartoony and cute. It's not supposed to be realistic. That's what I keep telling myself so that I can feel better. But I think it served the purpose. It looks like faux fur. It looks hairy, I think. Yeah, it does. So now it's time to color in her cute, trendy, fashionable bangles. I wanted to add a pop of color in there. So I added some magenta and teal and yellow, and it's cute, it's cute. So now I wanted to color in the money, and I took out all my green pencils because I wasn't sure what color money was supposed to be. I mean, I know what it's supposed to be, but from the colors that I had, I wasn't sure which to use. So I just dragged them all across the paper to see which one matched the best. And I settled on kind of coloring it in with a very light green as the base, and then just using some of the darker green for the borders and the little, whatever those medallion shaped things are on money. I don't know. But they're a dark green, so I use that color. And speaking of green, I felt I didn't have enough of it because the reading said green, lots and lots and lots of green. So I figured, well, my background is still pretty empty. Let's load that up with green. So I took my Ohuhu marker because I just love how the markers look as background color. They're really vibrant, and I just love that. So I figured, okay, I'm taking this green and we're making a background. So are you digging the green? Are you digging it? If you're digging that green, hit the like button. Show me some love. And here is our final drawing of our filthy rich lady who's spending her money on her family because she's fun-loving, she's cool, and she's sassy. So if you want to make a drawing based on the reading, please feel free to do so. Throw it up on Instagram and tag it with Bella M Tarot Art. I'd love to see your interpretation. And if you want to follow me more on this journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's go on a journey together. Bye!